what's up, everyone? My name's Sam, and welcome to More Damn Books. You know, I just wanted a space where I could talk all things books, words, reading, just all the things that I've really been into. Basically, what I want this to be is just a space where I can kind of throw out to the void what I've been reading, what I want to read, what I plan to read, and what books I've recently snagged. But yeah, I love talking about books. I always have the biggest fear that when the question comes up, oh, what's everyone reading? I'm always first to answer, and quickly I am always nervous that I am answering for far too long. So I just wanted to make a space for myself where I can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk all night long about all the books I love reading. I guess that's what this is. So for this week, I just want to talk about 5 books that I want to try to read this February. Got them right here. February is a little bit of a shorter month, so I think 5 should be good. I read 6 books last month, so I'm hoping that 5 should work. But let's get into these. This first one is Thinner by Stephen King. The copy I have has it as King, but this is a Richard Bachman, what he published under his pseudonym, and I don't know too much about this one, but I do know that this was the last book that Bachman was able to publish before people knew he was Stephen King. This was kind of the book that blew his cover. I've heard that King is kind of towing the line a little bit in this one. I think he was trying to see how much he could get away with. I believe it's in this book. There's a line, something where a character says something along the lines of, this is crazy. I feel like we're in a Stephen King novel. I haven't read enough of the Bachman books to know if it's in this one or not, but I'm super excited to get through this one. From what I know, it's about a guy who gets cursed and starts rapidly losing weight. And at first he thinks like, wow, that's pretty cool. As one would do if you didn't have to go to the gym and eat healthy to drop a few pounds. But then I think the weight keeps falling off at a scary fast level where it's starting to be dangerous. And the main character kind of starts to reverse the curse. I love these signet novel versions. This is a used book that I found. I love that it has this like metallic sheen at the bottom of it. I don't know why a book would need a mirror-like quality to it, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to get some King in this month and to read this one right here. Next on my list, I have a more recent book, came out the last couple years. I think it came out maybe 2023, but I have Big Swiss by Jen Began. I've heard really fun things about this book. I've heard it's wild, I've heard it's fun, and I've heard that it's just kind of a crazy good time. This is about a girl named Greta who lives in Hudson, New York, which is a beautiful little community upstate. I've been to Hudson a few times, and every time I'm there, I always wish that I have one more day to stay there. Okay, so this follows Greta, and her day job is she transcribes the private sessions of a sex therapist, but she kind of becomes infatuated with one client in particular who I believe she kind of code names or nicknames herself Big Swiss. And then in daily life, Greta runs into Big Swiss and I think kind of takes up a relationship with her, but it's kind of got that age-old trope of like the main character knows more than what the maybe pseudo love interest or friend interest knows. Yeah, I have no idea where this is going to go, but I do love that trope of when us, the audience, knows something that not all the characters do know. So I'm excited about this. I hope when I read the last word, that is the face that I'm making. Okay, next I have a book that my boss gave me. He usually just sends me like 1 to 2 books a year, books he thinks that I would like vibe with, and I'm excited about this one. He said it's a sci-fi book that he thought would be right up my alley. So we have Inverted World by Christopher Priest. And it seems crazy. I've never heard of this book, but basically the back right here says the city is winched along tracks through a devastated land full of hostile tribes. Rails must be freshly laid ahead of the city and carefully removed in its wake. Rivers and mountains present nearly insurmountable challenges to the ingenuity of the city's engineers. But if the city does not move, it will fall farther and farther into the crushing gravitational field that has transformed life on Earth. The only alternative to progress is death. I mean, that sounds crazy. What I'm a little nervous about is I like to kind of co-read all my books with an audiobook. So I can double up. I can, when I'm on a walk, when I'm in the car, when I'm doing stuff around the house, I can be listening. And then when it's time to actually be in the pages, when I find time to actually read, I have the book itself. And from what I have found in my limited searching, there is no audiobook for this, which I can get back to good old just like strictly reading, but I am just a little nervous that I won't be able to double time it with that. Next, I have In Ascension by Martin McInnes. This is a sci-fi book that I've heard is kind of reminiscent to Interstellar a little bit. I think very grounded sci-fi. The cover definitely caught my attention. The fact that it's reminiscent to Interstellar has piqued my interest. And then it was longlisted in 2023 for a Booker Prize. So that's what drew me to this one. I have no idea what this is going to be about. And then the last book that I want to try to get through this month, I have been making my way through the Expanse series. This is book 7 out of 9, Persepolis Rising by James S.A. Corey. I've been trying to do one Expanse book a month since I've started. I started the series back in August. I think I did Leviathan Wakes and Caliban's War back to back, but I've been trying to pepper in a few books in between each read because it's gotten so good. I don't want it to end. I only have 3 books left, including this one, and I'm really sad that I'm drawing towards the end. A small shout out to what I'm also going to try to get to read is I've been doing the novellas in between all of the mainline Expanse books. Some of them have been novellas, some of them have been teeter-tottering more on the short story length, and I know Strange Dogs is my next one of that before I can officially start this. So I'll also be reading Strange Dogs this month, but I'm going to try to end out February with the 7th Expanse book. Yeah, so that's what I plan on trying to get through in February. We got a short month, a little shorter month, so I think I'm gonna be able to get through those 5. Okay, yeah. So then I also have some recent pickups. I got them right here. Let me grab them. Okay, so I have, how many do I have here? I've got 4 books. I went to one of my favorite bookstores, McKay's. It is a used bookstore. It's just a ginormous warehouse, wall-to-wall books. And I had a good score. Like any thrifting, sometimes you go and you come up with nothing, and sometimes you go and you find what you need. So it was a good book haul. Speaking of haul, this first book that I snagged was Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. I have heard just such fantastic things about this book. It hasn't ever really been on my radar. I've always heard it's good. The reviews have kind of gone in one ear and out the other. But when I saw it on the shelf, it kind of jogged my memory, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it out. And I popped it off the shelf, read the back, and was like, whoa, yeah, that sounds right up my alley. So we are dealing with some historical fiction here. We follow King Henry VIII doing his King Henry thing, where he is pretty righteously peeved off that he hasn't had a male heir yet, and he's just trying to do everything in his power to get one. And the main character isn't the king. We follow Thomas Cromwell, who is, I think, for lack of a better term, he's the king's kind of like fixer. He is just kind of going around and doing all the dirty work behind the scenes. So yeah, that sounds sick. I've been getting more into historical fiction lately, which has been a lot of fun. Like, nobody told me that historical fiction, especially if you're grabbing like medieval historical fiction, reads a lot like fantasy. Obviously, there's no magic systems, but the setting, the world building of our world at that time, if it's done right, it can read very fantasy adjacent. So I've really enjoyed dipping my toes into more historical fiction, and I'm excited to submerge maybe up to the heel, maybe up to the calf with this one. I know it's a trilogy, so I'll start here, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So these next two are by the same author. I snagged two books by Robert McCammon. I got Speaks the Nightbird, and then I snagged his door-stopping tome, Swan Song. Robert McCammon has been on my radar for some time now. I've wanted to definitely start checking out his horror novels. I've known that they were biggins, but I think when I grabbed Swan Song off the shelf, I was like, sheesh, this thing could hold open like an industrial walk-in fridge metal door and just leave it open till that thing ran room temp. This is a big freaking novel. I've been keeping my eye out for Wolf's Hour, which, from what I know about that book, is about a Nazi fighting werewolf, which just sounds cool as all get out. But I've also heard that Swan Song is such a good read. In some corners, and I might have to whisper this, in some corners I've heard some to say that Swan Song is the better post-apocalyptic novel compared to The Stand. Obviously, I can't confirm till I crack into this, and I don't know if I'm going to crack into this anytime soon. I try to limit the amount of tomes I read in a year, and this might not be on my 2025 bingo card, but I'm excited to have it nonetheless. And then this one right here, Speaks the Nightbird, was right next to it on the shelf. I knew nothing about this book till I read the back, and it sounds like we kind of have some witch trials going on here, and it sounds like our main character believes that the woman who has been set up to be a witch isn't a witch, as it goes, and is trying to delve a little deeper and see what the true horror is at play. So yeah, sign me up for that. Both of these sound sweet. I might do this one first. I might need some witchiness in my life, but I'm glad I found them. And then this last one that I found, I passed by it like 3 times when I was in the classics section because it is just such a drab looking book. I mean, look at this. You can't even, it's just like, this is just book. What is this? This is just book. Hey, what you reading there? I don't know, book. But among closer inspection, I saw Mr. Steinbeck's name on it, and that's it. All we got here is just a name, John Steinbeck. So I pulled it off the shelf, and I did some closer inspection into these creaky, well-worn brown pages and found that this is a collection of Steinbeck's shorter novels. So you got Tortilla Flat, you got The Red Pony, Of Mice and Men, The Moon is Down, Cannery Row, The Pearl, the Pearl ends it out. But just this really interesting cloth-bound compilation of some Steinbeck. So I'm pumped about this. I read East to Eden at the start of the year, and I want to just keep getting into more Steinbeck. I think I'm calling for Steinbeck Spring. That's what I'm calling it, at least. I think this spring I'm really going to try to dive into more Steinbeck. And what better place to do it than compiled into a one-stop shop. But Yeah, I think that's all I got for this week. I'm excited to get into these February reads. I think the first one I'm going to crack is in Ascension. But I'm excited to dive into that, dive into the rest. Hopefully, I can get through them all. And yeah, thanks for watching. And please go out there and pile on some more damn books in your life. Read, 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 read. All right. Thanks.